Y'all, we are in the last month of the year. It's December, which means it's time to show you December's budget. So, for those of you who have been here before, you know that I do a zero-based budget, and that means that every dollar coming in has a plan, has a job to do. And I also have a plan based on like whatever my money goal is at the time for any money that's left over, any money that I've budgeted for but didn't really spend fully, or any kind of unexpected refunds or anything like that. So, anyway, got this it's like kind of chilly up in my office right now. So, I'm holding on to this very hot mug of tea. Okay. Um, without further ado, we will just get into it. So, I am expecting about $3,871.50 from my day job. My mom is going to give me about 105. Actually, she's going to end up giving me more, but we'll sort it out later. Um, So, and I'll get into why that's gonna be in a minute, but traditionally, this is what she does. Now, it is December 2nd. I might not get the video out by December, but I usually have it recorded because I do my budget before the month begins. But my mother and I actually just got back from a trip to the Bahamas. We went to the Bahamas over Thanksgiving, and, so she's gonna owe me some of the money. Like, basically, I paid for everything, she's gonna pay me back, her portion of it. So, anyway, total income right now, $3,976.50. We didn't come back until, like, late December. Actually, no, I guess we technically got back after midnight. We got back on December 2nd. Um, Initially, we should have been home, like, kind of late December 1st. So, I had the budget done before I left. I just didn't really have time to film. It just kinda didn't make the list of the most important things to do. Finishing the budget was on the list, but when I travel, I don't know about anybody else, but whenever I'm out of the house for more than one night, I like to come home to a clean house. So I will typically I will strip the bed. That's the time when I will like change the sheets. I will, declutter and tidy and do like some deep cleaning so that I come home to a clean house, and like literally the only thing I have to do is unpack and do laundry from the trip. Um, and so yeah, that's my preference. And so getting everything finished that I needed to finish to pack, and then getting everything cleaned was a task enough. And I figured since I was getting home December 1st and it was going to be after like a really long, we took a train from Miami to Baltimore for the fun of the vacation. I probably wouldn't do it again. American train travel is terrible. I don't know if anybody knows that, but like it probably doesn't seem terrible, but then you go to other countries and you're like, "Oh, no, America's bad. That's really bad." So, anyway, um, I expected if I don't travel over Thanksgiving, then I spend the time after Thanksgiving decorating for Christmas, and I expected to just kinda be exhausted, and I thought, "You know what? I just wanna veg on Monday, like, go get groceries because I'm gonna need food, but otherwise just completely veg out." So I added on top of my list of things to do before my trip, decorating for Christmas. So I got my trees out, got all the ornaments out, and did all of that. So that's done, which is awesome because I just got to kind of walk in and I'm like, "Hello, Christmas." So it was great. It was a little weird having all the Christmas stuff up like a week before Thanksgiving, but that's fine. So yeah, so I was really ultimately I didn't have time to film, and I was like, well, I can always film it later, but at least the budget itself is done. So anyway, that's what we're looking at. So a total of $3,976.50 in income expected. I do know that I have some returns I'm going to make, some things that I kind of bought for my trip that I wasn't positive I was going to take, but I thought like I'll, make the decision closer to the trip. So I do have some returns there. I just don't know when I'm going to get around to returning them. And I, off the top of my head, don't know how much they were because I usually bought them with a couple of other things. So I thought, you know what? I just won't budget for any, and then we'll just put it in the actual column when the time comes. Mortgage. My mortgage has changed. My PMI has dropped. And so my payment is a little bit different. It's not a lot different. And I don't understand, but but whatever. It's like $1 different. It was like 648 and change, and now it's 647.09. Whatever. Like my PMI was like $40 a month. It's fine, whatever. Electric, $42.53. Natural gas, $66.64. Sewer, 63. That's a flat rate. Water, $18.97. I actually can't believe my natural gas bill for December was $66.64. Now it's technically November's usage, but it's been so stinking warm that it's like it's not been a problem. It's most of November's usage, I should say. Get the bill towards the end of November, but since I pay it in December, like I just count it as a December bill. But typically, like it's been a really warm October and it's been a really warm December or November. So I don't even think like we'll see what the next bill looks like because most of November I barely had the heat on. Anyway, $63 for sewer is a flat rate. $18.97 for water is not exactly a flat rate. Like it's a minimum usage rate, and I don't often go over it, so I kind of just consider it a flat rate. Okay, internet $58. Although I did say apparently like people are reading meters wrong. A lot of people were complaining about a pretty high water bill, so we'll see when I actually get it. I haven't gotten it yet. It'll probably come like today or tomorrow in the mail. Internet $58. It's a flat rate. My cell phone 75. That's actually going to be different. I'm really curious. My mother and I made some changes. Like, first of all, putting $75 in there before I left was beyond stupid because I didn't even like begin to think about the fact that we were definitely going to be out of the country and likely using our global travel pass. So it's $10 a day. And so yeah, that was going to be a lot worse. And then we ended up using a lot of data, like a lot more than I expected. So I was looking around at like changing our data plan, and I found that we could upgrade to the new version through Xfinity, and it was like $40 for an unlimited line and then $20 for an additional unlimited line. And what we would typically do, what we were under, if we use so much data, we normally stayed with like a 3 gig shared data plan, and it was like $30. And a few months out of the year, maybe like half of the months. Like if we were traveling and doing stuff or whatever, we would go over the 3 gigs. Not a big deal. We would just bump it to $65 for 10 gigs. And then we didn't usually get close to finishing the 10 gigs off. So, and that's kind of how it was. And if for whatever reason one of us did do something and have like a really high usage of data and have to go to unlimited, it would be $45 for unlimited for that one line, and then still be the $30 for the 3 gigs, or 65 if we were both over like at least the 3 gig amount. And I was like, one of us at 45 and one of us is 30. That's 75. Like that's what I was anticipating, so I put 75 in there. And I thought, this one here, and I was like doing the math, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is 60, and we just always have unlimited, and we don't have to worry about it at all. And I don't have to play this game of going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. I might as well just do it. So that's what we did. And it's actually going to end up being less. Like I think it's $60 right now, plus whatever taxes and fees get associated with it. I don't know what it is. And with that, we got like a free global pass because the bill went from being like $125 because we went over, like I updated one to unlimited while the upgrade was happening. I didn't realize what was happening. I thought it didn't work, and I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. So anyway, I turned it over to like one was going to be unlimited, and accidentally made my mother's the one that was unlimited, and I was like, son of a and this one is right. And then had the global travel passes on top of that. So it was like 125. And I was like, all right, like it is what it is. Not a big deal. And then when the upgrade happened, it went down to $60. And I was like, wait, what happened? So, it was the right call this month, that's for sure. Groceries, $300. I am considering actually going up, changing that, although I guess it technically counts as gifts. I bake gifts for my friends, like I do. I prefer edible gifts, frankly. Like, don't give me something that's going to sit on my shelf and that I've got to dust and I've got to look after and take care of and this and that. Give me something I can just consume. Give me something I can eat. That'd be great. 750, my life insurance thing comes out quarterly, and this will be the time it comes out in the month of December. Gas, $200, house garden, 25, restaurant, 75, fitness, 41.85. That's just my gym membership. $25 for personal, $25 for miscellaneous. I am trying to like really cut that back. Because I feel like I've done too much over time. And the only way I'm really going to blow that is if it actually gets cold enough and snows enough that like I can go skiing in December, which lately has just not been the case. So I cut that back thinking, we'll do that. $100 to my niece's brokerage account. 50 comes from me, 50 comes from my mom. That's why in my income, my mom, that's of the $105. We share a cell phone and she gives me $50 towards that. And we have some shared subscription services that she does as well. My brokerage account, I did 150.04. And the reason I've done that is because when I kind of budgeted it, I kind of looked out what I was doing. If I do 150, I usually do about $70.83. So if I do the 150, I will have put $1,000 into that brokerage account this year. So I'll try to keep that up. $500 then to my Roth IRA, and that will finish out my Roth IRA for the year. So that's exciting. And I also have a note down here that I want to put $2.92 to my HSA because I was doing something really stupid and not at all paying attention to what I was doing. I didn't realize it at the time, and I do know it now. What I used to do is because our HSA limits would climb like $50, $50, and $50. And I was like, and I was changing positions. So the first 3 years I had an HSA, my company to incentivize people to go into it said, hey, we'll start your HSA, will give you a certain amount. And then they, the following year, I think they gave us like the amount of our deductible the first year. The next year it was half that. The next year it was half that. And then I switched into a different position with under a different contract that was getting the same level of contributions. So so basically I had 3 years of that. And I always, every year had to adjust based on how much the district was giving me, so that I could continue to put the max in. And I just at that point kind of got tired of it. And I was like, or well, I will say like that was okay because every year like the amount you could put in changed. And then once they were no longer putting money in and it was all me, from year to year it was like, oh, now I've got to adjust it to make up for the $50. And I thought about it and I was like, why don't I just wait to the end of the year and throw whatever money is left in? That way I don't have to go and change this thing every year. And so that's what I was doing. And I got into a new position and they were back to like giving me money. So I had to like make the adjustments every year. And I was like, God, this really is annoying. So then when the payments from them stopped, I had to like one more time adjust it. And that is about the time I think I started looking into some things and I realized that it impacts my taxable income. Like I knew that I could deduct it, like put after tax money in and deduct it, but it also like I'm also paying more in other taxes by not having it taken out of payroll. So then I made the adjustment and I am apparently off by $2.92 in my math apparently. And in I don't even know. We'll see. So anyway, the note is there so that once my, the money comes out of the second paycheck that I can look in there and make sure, because I don't want to miss the opportunity to max it out. So I may have to put that in with after tax dollars. So the note is just kind of there to remind me. Then my plan, emergency fund, $1,274.88. Hallelujah. 155 to my subscriptions, $17 to my Knitting Lion Club, and $59 to my car insurance that gets paid out every 6 months. The Nittany Lion Club that I have is yearly. I'll actually pay that out in January, and then $50 to the garden fund, which I hadn't been paying into, but now that it's winter, I want to, kind of put some money in there so that when spring arrives, I'm able to do what I need to do in there. Notice my travel fund is not minus $700. Uh, that's not actually finalized yet. Don't take a look at that entirely. I have not finished working out all of the budgetary stuff for November because we just got home and everything was done up until the point we left. But basically, all of it was travel expenses. And I've got to figure out how to do some things. I bought some things for the group that I put it on my card so that I can get the points and things like that. And then they paid me. And in some cases, my friend would Venmo me. And in other cases, she gave me cash. My mother owes me half of what we paid for on the trip. So things are not as bad and it's not as dire, but I haven't given her the totals yet. And so she hasn't given me the money yet. But that's where we're at. So that will be all properly adjusted. And when I do my November closeout and show you exactly what I spent, that will make a lot more sense. So for right now, just kind of ignore it. That's not entirely accurate just yet. I'm still closing out my November budget and sorting through all of that. So anyway, that's the game plan for December. I am not putting any money at this point into my gift fund. There's about $500 in there that should see me through with the gifts that I will make for friends and colleagues, and for the gifts that I will send to my niece. And my mom and I decided that we weren't really going to spend any money on each other for Christmas this year. We were just going to spend it on our trip and do it that way. Um, I'm trying to figure out, there's some things that I would like to get her. I'm going to try to get her something that's like a picture of her and my dad. I just don't quite know what I want to do. I was thinking of like some like pretty ornaments for her tree. And I think now, like, um, he's been he's been dead now 2 years since September. And I wanted to give it some time because I didn't want to give her something like the that's weird. Huh. It's like they hung up or something. So I normally have my phone on silence unknown callers, but because I was traveling and things like that, I didn't want that on. Um and like it was really weird. Like I got a call and it looked like they hung up and called right back. So at first I thought like the call stopped because it like went straight to voicemail because I silence unknown callers and send them to voicemail, but then it was like ringing and I could answer it, which like pro tip, don't answer numbers you don't recognize. That's how you get scammed. Um anyway, I thought about getting her something like that. I feel like I didn't want to do it the first Christmas. I was like, it's definitely too soon. Um, and because the first Christmas, like he died in September, so the first Christmas was like 3 months later. Um, Second Christmas, like I was still kind of like, not feeling it. This time, I think I will. So I will get something like that my mom can use. I really want to get her like a something that she can look and see what the level is of her taps on her kegerator. And I really thought about getting her a second tap so she could kind of put two like six stools on at a time and have like choice in beer. But we'll see. We'll see there. So anyway, something small. My mother and I will definitely send something to my niece, and the rest are just, my Secret Santa and stuff. And I think that that 500 should be enough. So I don't expect to have to add anything to that. Anyway, again, that is the game plan for December. If you have any questions about how I do my budget, I'm actually going to try something different next year, but we'll see how that goes. One of the things I really liked about this was it was really easy to put totals in, and I've hidden them for now, but I will have other videos where I show you kind of my spending for the year, as a yearly wrap up sort of thing. So it makes for a very busy December, I think. But anyway, that's all for now, guys. Thanks so much for watching. See you later.